We're going to watch this really quickly. It's only 30 seconds.
Just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked.
I want to push back on that, by the way.
So is she?
All her people, she was a
Right.
Disney child. She is as American as it gets. She doesn't even speak Spanish. Stop acting like they're your people. That's very
Are
odd.
you an American or are you Mexican? Are you? And this is a really important question.
She's American. She doesn't even speak Spanish.
Yeah, my heritage goes back to obviously white people places, England and different things like that. But I don't identify myself as English or Scottish or Irish. I identify myself as an American. This girl has been here her entire life. She probably has relatives from Mexico, and she's got the little Mexican flag, if you notice,
Right.
the little Mexican flag there.
I'm sorry, Mexican flag.
She probably has people from heritage from those places, but this is a big problem, especially in Southern California, where people are driving around not with American flags, but with Mexican flags.
Oh, and I got video clips of the protesters. No American flags there. It's all Mexican flags. In fact, if you didn't tell me where that was being filmed, I would assume it was Mexico.
What country do you live in? Where do you want to live? Right?
Which is so
If you
crazy.
wanna
If
be
you
here-
love it so much, why aren't you there?
Well, and that's what people say all the time. But the
No,
reality is
because
they want to. Let me tell you.
you hate your country enough to leave. You hate your situation.
No, they don't hate their country. They hate their situation. They want to bring their country.
Where did the situation come
with
from,
them.
Shane?
They want to bring their country with them.
Yes,
They
and
don't-
the
listen,
culture that put them in this situation in the first place,
They don't want to be Americans. They want to bring Mexico here.
which makes
That's
no
the
sense.
that's the difference now than it was in the past. People would come here wanting to be Americans. Now, because America has been taught to be a bad place, America's evil, right? This is what we've been taught. This is what people believe. This is what our young people believe.
Darth Vader and the Empire, yeah.
Right? Trust me, go spend some time out there in the world in these other countries and find out if America's a bad place. It's not. You'll be there for a week, cry, and then come home. I'm telling you right now. And these people come from these places, and instead of coming here going, "Oh my God, I want to be an American. I want to be," no, I want to live in America. I want to benefit from America, but I want to be a Mexican.
And we're speaking generally because there's plenty of people that don't feel that way, but the people that are protesting and
The
acting
majority
out,
of
right?
people, majority of young people coming here now aren't embracing to be Americans. They still embrace their heritage and where they came from.
Let's listen to the rest of this 15 seconds of Selena Gomez crying. By the way, she's a multimillionaire, FYI.
You would know by her backdrop.
I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do.
I know what she could do. Take some of the money
Yeah.
that she has a lot of it, and go help the people in Mexico.
Right. Or help the people who are coming in illegally come in legally.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, get them immigration lawyers, set up
Yeah.
a fund.
You
Yeah.
could.
You
That's
could do-
how you help your people.
Selena, you know what is not going to help? You putting crying videos on Instagram for about 7 minutes before your PR team says, "You got to take that down, dude. Sales are hurting." No one
Well,
came to your
yeah.
defense for a reason, because this is pathetic and cringe.
Well, and people aren't even sure it's, I mean, I feel like it's probably real, but a lot of people have questioned whether or not it's real. She's probably, I don't know why you would record
She's over
yourself.
$1 billion? That's what her net worth is? No way. It's
She
hard
sold
to...
a lot of records, dude.
Wow.
Going on tour makes you a lot of money.
Wow. Okay, so she cries a bunch, right?
I mean, I know not all people who've been in trouble are being deported. There are some people who are just here legally that are being deported as well. But this came out like early when like the really hardcore people were getting pushed out, you know?
I did see some of the criminal reports. I think some of these people deserve to be helped, and I am volunteering to help this particular person stay in the country. I think she deserves it. So yes, the people being deported right now, and I have a clip of what's her name talking about it. I don't know where it went, but it's vastly criminals. In fact, what they were doing was they were going to the states and saying, "Hey, let us know when people are coming out of prison. Let us know when Juan Gomez is coming out of prison. He is here illegally. he committed a felony, whatever the deal is. But a lot of the states, especially the sanctuary cities, were being like, we're not gonna tell you when. We're gonna just let them. We're gonna let them leave, and we're gonna protect them, and you'll have to find them on your own because they can't interfere with the Fed.
Right.
But of course they're not gonna be assist. They're not gonna assist the federal government in taking a felon that's here illegally back to where it's crazy. So what happens though is the ICE then goes out to then locate these people, and they end up locating people with him that are also here illegally.
Right.
So ICE is going after criminals, but someone said this on stream, but because they're going into a home and they're not getting the assistance from the cities
or a workplace
and states, right, or workplace, because they have to go in there, they're doing what the video game world we call AOE damage.
That's actually a good description.
Right, they're going after one person, but those people are surrounded by other illegals. So while 78% of the people that they are deporting are all criminals, they're also catching other illegals in their nets at the same time.
And they said those people are going to go as well.
Right.
So the thing is like, yeah, you could be caught in the net, I guess, so to speak, of when you're fishing for the hardened criminals. If you're hanging out with the hardened criminals and you're here illegally, you are also breaking the law and you're going to leave.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So the real question here isn't whether or not, this is going to happen. The question becomes like, what happens if you've been here for 20 years? What happens if you've been here for 20 years and, you've had kids, they're now citizens, and you're just working and you're doing your thing. That's going to be a tough question to answer.
It is. Yeah.
Like, because you've been here for 20 years, you're kind of paying taxes, you're working for the system. I do think that if you've been here that long and you can prove that you've been here that long, then there needs to be a path to citizenship for these people. You need to make everybody citizens.
I agree.
But if you
can't reform a system that is currently leaking. You can't fix the boat if it's sinking. You got to get it. You got to get it in a harbor before you can fix the boat. So we need to close shop, close the border, stop that fire hose of people coming into the country illegally, and then you can work on immigration reform.
Well, and that's what's happened. So for the most part, the border is shut down. And I would say if you've come to this country illegally in the last 4 or 5 years, then you probably should go. You haven't been here long enough to put down roots. You came across during a time when you weren't supposed to, and you should have come in legally. And, I don't think there's a safe harbor for you. If you've been here for a decade and your kids are in schools and there needs to be a path for those people to become citizens. We can take more people into this country. We take 1 million people a year, I think a little over 1 million people a year, and legally into this country. We can afford to absorb as long as we keep the border shut. And when the next Democrat group comes in, they don't just open the borders back up again.
They don't open the sieve, right?
That's the problem.
Yeah. Did you ever see that clip of AOC? She was like, she was talking to the current head of the border agency. I'm forgetting his name right now. He's a hilarious dude.
Oh, Holman?
Yeah, because he's so calm. He's like, well,
Tom Homan, yeah.
We would never take children away from their mother. They'll all be deported together. He's so like matter of fact.
We'll deport both of them.
We'll deport them all.
Yeah.
We won't separate families. They can go.
Do you get upset when we put someone in jail when a parent's broken the law and they can't be with their kid because they're in prison? Yeah.
I love it too when she went after him. She's like, "Sir, these are not criminals. They are asylum seekers." And he's like, "Well, then they should be going to the correct port of entry." Sir, yeah. That is not your call. Actually, under section 973, he cites the actual law.
Yeah. He's great.
If they came into the country through an unauthorized port of entry, then they are in fact criminals. And she's like, she couldn't answer.
I try not to listen to a lot of AOC because I feel stupider somehow or more dumb every time I listen to her. So
I love AOC. She's my favorite. I hope she becomes president someday.
All right, there's one of us.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be a hilarious 4 years. I don't even know if it would be 4 years.
I don't even know it would be hilarious. It would be dangerous 4 years.
It would be like 2.5 years, and then everything would just explode.
She would be like Trump opposite. Like she would aggressively do everything Trump's doing, but the opposite way.
Yeah, I just want to be. I want to be alive for when she becomes president. I want to see that.
Let it be at the end.
Yeah, at the end of my life, hopefully. Yeah. All right. So I got a couple clips. So the deportations are happening. So this is what's weird. People are getting deported, but other people are also like, I'm not going to work because I don't want to get deported. Because they don't want to, because they're hanging out with people, they're hanging out with criminals, right? That are working in roofing jobs and whatever.
It's a fair point.
Right? So what's happening is, and the people that are complaining about this, they don't understand that they're self-owning themselves right now. So this guy right here, this guy right here is, and I'll play the clip, it's short. He's about to complain how there's nobody to work his job sites. Well,
okay.
Well, at the end of that, I have a question for you, Shane. So please hold that thought. Watch this.
Update on the ICE raids from the perspective of a general contractor. I just had a roofer completely cancel on my job because he is picking up the pieces from all of his other job sites that got raided, and the crews are just gone. So I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and this is a roofer that I've been working with for years. It's sub, it's labor. And I'm providing materials and working under my roofing license with my supervision. So it's how many of the roofers do it down here. And we were figuring out the final details. And I'm like, hey man, let's get that final number together. And I was kind of trying to figure out because he hadn't sent me the final price yet. And I'm like, what's going on, dude? And he finally wrote me just now and he said, I have to walk from this job. I cannot physically complete it because I am personally working on a number of roofs that the crews are just gone. So how is this helping us?
Well, I'll tell you.
Fuck.
How is this helping us, Shane?
I'll tell you how it's helping us.
Yeah. How is it helping us? Go ahead.
Now you're going to have to pay people what they should be paid to do the job.
And
now you have to pay them a real wage.
No more slave labor, bro. No more you getting your general contractor's license and then using the broken backs of immigrants who don't know enough to make your money. I'm sorry, you're self-owning yourself now. You're acting like what? Like you're the righteous one and the Trump and the ICE raids are evil? No, you said job sites. More than 2 job sites. That means plural. More than 2 of your job sites were raided by ICE. Why? Because you're hiring illegal aliens.
Yeah, you want to know why American citizens aren't working construction? Because they can't get jobs because they need wages to actually pay their taxes to live in this country.
Right.
They got to pay their taxes, man.
Right.
So that's the problem is you can hire these illegal immigrants to come in for much less. This has been going on for a long, long time. And this is why a lot of people say they're doing the jobs that none of us want to do. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
We have no problem doing construction, mowing lawns, doing all the things. Now, there's one I will argue that most people don't want to do, and that's picking fruit in the farms. Okay. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, it's backbreaking work. I've done it. It's not something anybody wants to do for a career.
Hey, but let's invent a robot to do that then.
Let's invent a robot to do it, or let's make a deal, right, where the people who do it get paid a reason. And actually, it's not a bad paying job, even if you're an illegal. They do pay people pretty well. But let's make an arrangement for people who are willing to do it to come in with a special work visa, and then maybe if they're here for a certain amount of time, they get a path to citizenship. There's a way to fix these problems.
But the employer would not want that because then they have to pay taxes on that.
Well, tough shit.
Yes, that's how it works.
How it works. Right.
Hello?
As the employer, you're cheating the system. And let me tell you something. They're not all, and it's going away, by the way. So in Southern California, here's a great example. Let's say you want to hire someone to come clean your house, right? Let's just say you don't want to do it. You're busy. You're working. You make enough money. You want to hire someone. You used to be able to hire illegal immigrants, right, to come in and clean your homes, and you probably pay them half what you'd pay, an American citizen to do it. And everybody was doing that. Well, guess what happened? All the American citizens stopped cleaning homes. So now all you have is illegal. Now what they figured out was, well, shit, you ain't got nobody to clean your house.
Right.
I want double. I want what I'm supposed to get paid.
You're 100% right. Because I lived that.
Yes.
When I first got married 22 years ago, it'll be 23 years this February 14th. I love my wife. Love you, babe.
Congratulations.
22 years ago, I remember I'm going to get someone to clean our house for our wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I did it. And I hired an American company. I just looked up on like Yellow Pages,
whatever,
which used to be a book you can look in and find companies, right?
A book? You
There
look
was
at
a book. There was a physical book. It was like huge.
Yellow pages.
And-
Let your fingers do the walking.
Yeah, let your finger to the right. That's right. That's what that was. And I hired someone, and it cost me like $125. But this is 22 years ago. $125. It was a fair amount of money back then. And like this crew showed up with like 3 women and all their supplies and vacuums, and they just handled my little 2-bedroom apartment top to bottom. It was pristine. My wife came home. She was thrilled. She had sex with me that night. I remember that very clearly. It was a great day. Well, that started something where I started hiring a different cleaning service every couple months to help my wife out and get everything organized. Even when I left from the apartment to the duplex, then to my house. And while my place got bigger, the price went up a little bit. And then I discovered, I'm not going to say her name, who knows about eyes, but I discovered a woman. And let's just call her Selena, because of Selena Gomez. I'm going to call her Selena.
Damn, she's a busy girl.
And she's like, $75. Now, I was used to paying between $125 and $150 every time for someone to clean my house. She was like, $75. And I just need you to buy me some cleaning supplies for your house. So I stocked my cleaning supplies. Came over. She was coming over every week. Man, I increased it from every couple months to every month, every like couple weeks, because she was so affordable. And then I noticed something. The price started to go up.
Yeah.
One day it was $80. Then it was
That's capitalism at its best, baby.
$95. And then she shows up with a friend. And now it's $120. And then a third person shows up. Yeah, now she has a crew. Now it's $175. She and her crew of talented women handle it in like an hour and a half flat and just leave with almost $200 of my money. And I'm like, oh, I can't afford this anymore. And I had to stop. And now every Saturday after this show, I spend 6 hours cleaning my house because I can no longer afford it. Guess what? She figured out that there was no one else.
Well, yeah, that's what happened. They run all the other people. And now listen, it's nobody's fault but our own. We're all trying to save.
In no way am I throwing shade at her. I get it.
That's what she should have done.
Right. It's what she should have done.
That's what America. I mean, she's more American than most people.
That's American.
Right?
That's about as American as it gets. Right.
Right. The problem is people complaining that we need these people, right? Because we can't. So it'd be like you complaining. Let's say they took her before she was charging you a bunch of money. You complaining, oh, I just lost my $75 cleaning lady. What's wrong with America? I needed this. Nobody else will do it. That's not true. You had a whole crew of people doing it. You just don't want to pay as much.
Right.
That's on you.
By the way, I'm not saying I'm not saying that because I realized that as an American, again, I'm an American too. So when I saw cheaper and cheaper options, I took them.
Right. Of course. That's how it works.
That's how it works, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but that doesn't mean it's okay. And it doesn't mean that there's nobody that's willing to do those jobs. And the whole point, the reason why we brought this up in the first place was the argument is who's going to do these jobs, right? There was a whole movie made, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago where it was basically a day without a Mexican.
A day without a Mexican, right?
Yeah, and somebody woke up, the white people woke up and all the Mexicans were gone.
It was so racist. That movie was so racist.
Right. And it was like there was nobody mowing lawns. There was nobody cleaning houses. There was nobody working. Let me tell you who used to do those jobs. Our kids.
Right.
Our kids used to do those jobs. Our kids. I used to mow the lawn. Okay. My sister and I used to clean the house. I used to work at a fast food place.
Right.
Why? Because we used to teach our children how they were going to become and grow up and become adults and take care of things.
Right.
Now, none of our kids can do those jobs because all the illegal immigrants are doing those jobs.
And you wonder why the average age for people living at home is now 35 years old.
Because they can't afford to survive on their own.
That's not hyperbole. The average age for people living at home is 35 years old. Do you know how insane that is to me? Someone who left my house at 17 illegally, like, I'm out. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Like, I joined the military so I can fast track my adulthood. It's insane to me that there's a 35-year-old man eating a bowl of cereal in his mom's house still. It's like,
Because he never learned to take care of himself.
If that's your situation, I'm sorry. But a lot of the people that are in that situation is because they just never learned. They never learned. One thing I learned was I went around the neighborhood and I offered to mow people's lawns and sweep their patios for $5-10, whatever. And I had my own little business going on. I would mow my dad's lawn, and I would take that mower and I would immediately go to the neighbors. And I would leave the mower on the sidewalk and I'd walk up to him like, "Hey, Mr. Blah, blah, blah. I'll mow your lawn for $5. And he's like, "Sure, all right, yeah." And I would do like 4 or 5 houses every Saturday. And I would make like $30 or $40. That was my first job.
That was the way it was.
Was at 14 years old mowing people's lawns.
Well, when you turned 16, then you went and got a job at McDonald's. Well, good luck trying to get a job at McDonald's if you're 16 years old. It just ain't going to happen because all the jobs are taken. Okay. And so anyways, we can argue this all day long. We talk about it all day long. We're in Southern California. It affects us more than it affects most people. And it's just a shame. We need legal immigration. And if you're Selena Gomez and you're crying for people who are being shipped back home, tell them to come the right way.
Yeah.
Okay. Help them come the right way. I know it's not easy. Not everybody gets to come the right way. If you're poor, it's hard to come the right way. Help them then. Start a fund.
Yeah. Start a fund. Yeah. You're $1 billion. You have $1 billion. Start a fund.
We can't bring all 11 billion people on this planet into this country.
Can't.
Okay. We can't. It's just not, it won't work.
It's physically impossible. Okay. So
we're lucky to be born here. We're fortunate.
100%.
Okay, we were,
and
fortunate.
I recognize that. We recognize that. Yeah. 100%. I'm so lucky to be born in the United States.
Like I was telling Brian, if I got on the lifeboat and you getting on the lifeboat is going to make it sink, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to kick you in the face. You can't get on.
Right. I'm sorry, dude.
I'm sorry. And that's what a lot of the people who've been here 10 or 20 years. Yeah. Most of the people who've been here for 10 or 20 years.
58% of.
Oh, no, don't let them in.
Yeah. 58% of Hispanics are approve of deportations. That's interesting.
Because they're on the lifeboat.
We're over here.
These people are going to sink it.
Get out of here, weirdo.
You're going to ruin it for all of us.
Don't sink my lifeboat. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave this topic on this. This is a huge factory, and there's just no one there after a couple ice raids. And by the way, this factory should be investigated by the government if this many of their employees are just missing after a couple raids.
That's what you get. Fucking immigration tries to show up, everybody leaves. Not a soul in here. Everybody's out.
It's funny. Fuck, it's 2 a.m. and everybody's off work, and people are just trying to get clout.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. And here's what you were saying about the protest. I think I sent you this. These are protesting the ice raid. One way not to protest an ice raid is to show up with Mexican flags.
I was like,
what are you doing, man?
You don't have any legal right to be protesting if you're not an American citizen, right?
Right.
So this is just an easy way to go scoop them all up.
Imagine that. It's like, hey guys, a bunch of Mexicans out here, Mexican flags protesting there. They're like, nice.
How many traps did they set on Facebook? On Facebook right. To like
join our protest.
Come join the protest, right?
They show up and guys like, hey, how you doing, Juan? Jump in the back for me, okay?
Let me tell you what, if I was an illegal immigrant, and let me tell you, if I lived in one of these countries and couldn't take care of my family, you bet your ass I'd be an illegal immigrant in this country.
100%.
I would do whatever it took to get here. Yep. But let me tell you what else I would do. I wouldn't get mad at the government that I snuck in here and by protesting the fact that they're going to make me go home.
I wouldn't be protesting.
I would hide. I'd be like, hard to find.
I'm keeping my head down.
Yeah.
Like I'm not committing any crimes. I'm going to be a model citizen so no one ever knows I'm here illegally.
Yeah, and then find a way to become legal.
Yeah, and then
marry an American citizen.
And then while you're in there, figure it out. Yeah, so there it is. All right. I don't know what to think about that at all.